morning, everybody. It's Dena with Dinner Made Easy with Dena, and today we are going to be doing a breakfast bake. And that breakfast bake is going to have sausage, egg, cheese, biscuits, and homemade gravy. So we're going to give that a shot here in just a couple minutes, and I'm going to bring you along for the ride. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to get started on cooking up our sausage, and we're going to make a sausage gravy to go over the top of our breakfast bake. And of course we have to make that gravy homemade. Why not? That's what's going to make it really, really good. I have just over a pound of sausage. I'm going to go ahead and get that into my skillet and get that breaking up so we can get that cooking. And once the sausage is all brown, then we're going to go ahead and make some gravy with it. I'm going to take some of the sausage out once it's cooked and break it up, and we'll put that over the top of the biscuits so that we do have a little bit of sausage mixed in with the biscuits and the egg before we pour the gravy over the top. So we are browning that sausage up on about a medium high. We don't want to burn it, but we do want to get it cooked. And I'm just going to break it up as it's cooking. Once we get this started, then we're going to go ahead and start prepping those biscuits in our baking dish. So we are preheating our oven at 350. Oop, that startled me. We are using Pillsbury Grands, but you can use any kind of biscuit that you want. These are just the refrigerated store-bought biscuits. I'm going to cut them in half, and I'm also going to cut them in quarters. And then we're just going to put them in the baking dish. I forgot to grease the baking dish, so I poured just a little oil in there, and I took a paper towel and spread it around, and then we're going to put those little pieces of biscuit back into the dish. While we're browning our sausage, we are going to pour in a full can of evaporated milk into a bowl with equal parts of water, and then that is the milk that we're going to use to make our gravy. The reason we do that is because the evaporated milk has such a rich flavor, and it really gives the gravy a really rich flavor as well. Let's make sure that our sausage is cooked completely through before we start adding other ingredients to make the gravy. It's really important that that sausage is cooked through. Now that it is, we're going to remove about 2/3 of the sausage and set it aside to add to our casserole before we finish making our gravy. Now we're going to stir that a little bit and see if we need to add a little bit of oil, which I think we do. So we're going to go ahead and pour about 2 tablespoons of regular vegetable oil in with our sausage bits and stir that in. Then we're going to add our flour for our gravy. And I added about 3 tablespoons of flour, maybe a little more, because they were pretty heaping. So you want to make sure you're getting a good amount, but be careful not to overdo the flour, just enough that it covers your sausage and you don't have any oil that you see pooling in your pan. Now when we're doing this, we're also going to let this cook as we stir it for at least a minute or two to make sure that the floury taste has been cooked out of the sausage before we go in with our milk. Now that the flour has cooked in with the sausage and has kind of a brownness to it, we're going to stir in about half of our milk before we put the rest in, just to get it all stirred in, and that way we don't have any clumps of flour in our gravy. Then we're going to go ahead and pour the rest of our bowl of milk into the gravy. Now, in the past, I have mentioned, and I'll say it again, if your gravy comes out and it looks like it's a little thin, just go ahead and cook it down until you get the texture that you're looking for. We want our gravy today to be just a little thinner than I normally make it because it is going in the oven with the biscuits and it will thicken a little bit more. So make sure that you continue to stir it as you bring it to a low boil, and then make sure that we're giving that gravy a taste. Remember, we need to make sure that it tastes right, and if we need to add some salt and pepper, let's go ahead and do that. Okay, so now we have our casserole in the oven and it needs to bake for about 35 to 40 minutes. We're going to keep our eye on it to make sure we don't overcook it, but I did add just a little bit of extra gravy. I had about 2.5 cups of gravy rather than the 2 cups that the recipe calls for. So we'll be back and take a look at that and see how well that turns out. Hey guys, if you're enjoying the video, hit that like button. If you haven't subscribed yet, please consider subscribing. Really appreciate it. It doesn't cost you anything. It's free and it helps me a lot. So I really appreciate that. Thanks guys, we'll be back. Here's our breakfast bake. It is out of the oven. I did let it cook for 35 minutes. And instead of putting all 8 of those biscuits in, I did go back and take 2 of them out. So I took I took 8 pieces out, which is 2 whole biscuits, because I thought it was just too heavy on biscuits. And I was right. So here it is. It's all ready. We're going to give that a taste and see how we did. It smells really, really good. I mean, how could it not be good? It's got homemade gravy all over it. There's our bite. That is good. This is one my husband's gonna want to eat a lot. This is really good. It's great if you have company stay over for the weekend, maybe holidays, whatever. It makes enough for, oh gosh, I would say easily 4 people, easily. Maybe 5 or 6 even. I have a 9 by 12 glass dish that it baked in, and it is full. So give this recipe a try. It's really tasty. You know, I think to add a little extra kick to it, it would be really good if you added a little bit of salsa in with your egg and just kind of mix that in there. It'd give it a really nice kick. But I mean, it's really good just like it is. Wonderful. Thanks guys. If you enjoyed the video, give us a thumbs up. Hope you enjoy the rest of your day. I know we're going to. Bye now. We'll see you next time.